I'm Michelle Eagleton from I Love Manchester, and you're watching Live in the Hive, the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. And have we got a show for you this evening? Oh, yes, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We have got the star of School of Rock joining us. He's a guy called Jake Sharp, and he plays Jack Black's iconic character, Dewy, in the smash hit musical currently starring at the Palace Theatre in Manchester. Not only that, we have got the Greater Manchester Theatre News telling you what is going on around our wonderful city. And alongside that, we have got a very special performance from The Wiz. Yes, Cherelle Williams will be joining us with a performance as Dorothy from The Wiz, which is absolutely stunning. And that is currently at Hope Mill Theatre in Ancoats. So lots of things to enjoy this evening here on Live in the Hive. So for the next 30 minutes, you will be with me on the I Love Manchester channel. Yes, the iconic brand dedicated to community and culture. But first up tonight, we have got a cracking interview with the fantastic Gaynor Faye. You might remember from Emmerdale, Coronation Street, and recently BBC One's The Syndicate. Well, at the moment, she is currently on tour with Peter James' thriller Looking Good Dead. And I got to catch up with a fantastic Gaynor a little bit earlier on in the Christmas break. And here is what she had to say. It has been quite a busy time for you because you've already been on tour with this thriller of a play. We'll get to that in a moment. But, you know, you're coming to Manchester, which we love you. We've adopted you for a long time, Gaynor. So tell us, do you feel excited about coming up to us again?
I absolutely feel on top of the world. You know what? I wasn't supposed to be doing any of the second leg of the tour. But Salford, I wanted to come. I had to come. It is my second home, and I'm definitely. I always have felt, you know, at home in Manchester, in Salford, and it's just So I'm coming back for 1 week in Salford. That's it for the second leg of the tour.
Well, we honestly can't wait. And I think you are going to have us on the edge of the seat with this because it's based on the novel by Peter James. It's a world premiere bringing to the stage. It's Looking Good Dead. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a real roller coaster thriller. You know, it's like Line of Duty, it's so good. Basically, Peter James has written loads and loads of books of crime thrillers, and this is one of the best. It's one of the early ones, and so it's Roy Grace who's the detective, and then the Bryces, Tom Bryce and Kelly Bryce and Max Bryce, and they're a family unit, and it's like a totally dysfunctional family. And then they get involved in some horrible business when Tom comes home with a little memory stick that he finds on a train, and it all kind of unravels from there. And then there's so many, you know, twists and turns. I mean, literally, people who have read the book will be shocked because it's nothing like the end. You know, the ending isn't the same, so it's not gonna spoil it for you, and it's not the same as a TV series either. So we've unfortunately we can't have helicopters in this one. But you know, and obviously seeing Adam up there, it will be
I know. I mean, gosh, what a pairing of you two. So it's you and Adam Woodyer, who we've recently seen on The Jungle. Oh, what's it been like touring with him?
He is just lovely. We hadn't met, our paths hadn't crossed before. And that's so weird because, like, I know everybody, you know, it's like in soap circles, you kind of know everybody. But we'd never actually met. So it was a strange thing when we first met. And he is just adorable. He's funny, he's warm, he's kind, he's gentle, he's generous. You know, he's just a lovely, lovely guy and a great team pet player. So
and were you trying to prepare him for The Jungle if you could in any way?
He wouldn't tell us. I thought he was going into Neighbours, me, because he honestly, I bought him loads of stuff, like the first edition of Neighbours, and also he wouldn't tell anybody. So none of us knew what he was doing. It was like top secret, and I kept saying, "Oh, go on, it's I'm a Celeb, isn't it?" He went, "No, it's not, honestly." And he did the best bit of acting ever.
Oh, that's madness, isn't it? Well, you have to get all the gossip when he's coming back now.
I will.
Absolutely. Now we see you quite a bit Well, actually, we see you in quite a lot of different roles. I don't think you ever stop working, Gaynor. I really, really don't. But I do love you doing comedy. So this is a departure in a way, isn't it? Because this is full on serious, yeah?
It really is. I mean, I don't think I have one laugh in the show. And if you're laughing at me, I'm obviously acting really badly. Because, yeah, I mean, I love comedy. But this is great because it was Josh Andrews who's a producer. I'd worked with him on Band of Gold, and he asked me if I'd be in part of this. And you know what? I just thought it'd be a great opportunity to do something quite different to, what I normally do. And I have to say, the audience love it because you got a lot of Peter James fans who come to see it, and a lot of people who love watching whodunits. So,
are we going to jump out of our seats then in this one? Is it one of those where you're just going to go, oh?
I think there's a couple of, yeah. I mean, I remember listening to Pete. We did a 3-way conversation, me, Peter, and Adam, and I remember Peter saying that he loves the gasp moment. He writes, and he always has like the gasp moment. So there's definitely gasps. I'm not sure it's jump out of his seat unless, well, I'm sure some people have jumped out of the seat. But yeah, no, it's more of a, it's one of those kind of dramas. Put that in inverted commas. Yeah,
I love that. I really do love it. And I do think it's great when you say that there's a bit of a change as well to the novel, because that's one thing that I find that when you go and see something that's been, transformed from the book to the stage or even the TV, you're like, I kind of know what happens. I kind of know what happens at the end.
That's it. I think it's a case of always updating. I mean, some plays, some books stand the test of time, but actually, if you want to get a new, fresh audience, you have to change little bits of it, and I know that my mum's doing the same with her. She's bringing Fat Friends musical out as well, and so she's updating that, and that's only a few years ago that she kind of was, put that out, but she wants to keep it fresh, and I think that's really important, to keep your work fresh. I mean, obviously, we can't do it with Shakespeare. We can't.
No, but you can kind of reinvent it, can't you? Sometimes. Yeah. So I've seen a couple of different reinventions. But talking of the stage, I mean, honestly, I know you've got such a love for live audiences. But what I really love when I go on your social media, you go and support others. You're not just kind of like acting yourself. I know that you recently went to see Jamie and Dear Evan Hansen. Now, I've got to say, I'm very jealous about Dear Evan Hansen. Still not seen that yet.
Honestly, I could not take my eyes off Sam Tuttett. He is just incredible. And then I didn't realise he'd won an Olivier Award. I mean, I'd have given him a million of them. His performance is just incredible. The whole piece is very unique and very fresh, and but he is just a massive star. I mean, he's on a massive trajectory. He's definitely going to end up somewhere in Hollywood for sure.
There is nothing like that live kind of performance, is there? And especially as you're doing TV and theatre, you as an actress must kind of feel that and get that from the audience.
It's an amazing buzz, I think that's why I love doing theatre, because I love doing telly, because you can really get, it's changing every time, and you've got different scenes and you've got different episodes, and so that's varied. But I love the theatre because of the interaction with the audience. You can actually hold them in the palm of your hand and guide them through the show, and they're very quick to tell you if they're liking it or not liking it. So,
definitely. Our northern audiences completely.
Oh, for sure. But it's just wonderful to get on that stage, and just be able to create something magical, and the immediate response. TV, you very rarely get, find out, you might get, I don't know, you don't find out if people love it. I suppose if you get
well, can I just say, I love The Syndicate. Oh my goodness. It keeps just getting better and better with every series. And you in that, I was like, just bin him off. Bin off your husband to be. I was like, flipping heck. Him and that dog.
Yeah, you definitely put that dog in front of me. I mean, outrageous. But yeah, Neil Morrissey, another. I've been blessed with my, co-stars and the whole team on that. That was such a hard shoot because it was right in the midst of COVID, the first lockdown.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, it was really, really hard. I mean, we were having, the restrictions there were ridiculous, and it was very tough, and we couldn't socialize at all with anybody. We went out, it changed from Las Vegas to Monaco, which was lovely, the fact we went to Monaco, but we still had all the restrictions in Monaco, and then France went into lockdown. So every which way we turned, we came up with obstacles, but we never stopped. We kept going, and it was testament to the actors and the crew to actually stay safe and to want to get things done. I think we were the only thing that shot fully in lockdown, the first lockdown.
You would never have realised that as a viewer watching it. I've got to say, that was very cleverly done, really cleverly done. I just want one more thing.
Yes.
Obviously, having been in Coronation Street, behind that bar, what do you think of the Hive bar?
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Is that in your house?
It is. It's in my garden. I've got some peanuts.
Amazing.
Right, are we ready for this? And what every good bar needs. Bacon and scampi fries.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. When we were doing Band of Gold, we had the bar on set, and we used to get those scampi fries and everything. And literally within like the night, you'd go back the next day, they're all gone. Everyone's addicted to them.
Were they real then? They were real packets then?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we used to eat them on set and then choke on them on stage.
They go more than the drinks in this bar, absolutely. But the one good thing is there's no last orders. So you're very welcome when you come to the Lowry. If you want to pop in the Hive, there's a drink waiting.
Thank you, my love. I'll be there.
Hi, I'm Ori Aduba, and you're watching Live in the Hive.
Oh, the lovely Ori Aduba. And he's going to be joining me in the Hive next week because he is starring in Rocky Horror Show. Oh my goodness, you will see him like you have never seen the Strictly Come Dancing winner before. Trust me. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show. We're here with Live in the Hive and we're on I Love Manchester. It's all very, very exciting tonight, and we are talking theatre across Greater Manchester, and we've got so many exciting pieces of theatre coming up, which leads me to Greater Manchester Theatre News, everybody. And what is the news this week? Well, it's all about this guy. Yes, you might recognise him from Casualty. The guy is Richard Windsor. Do you remember him? He played Caleb Knight between 2014 to 2017. Well, since then, he has become a star of the stage, starring in things like Dorian Gray and Swan Lake for the wonderful Matthew Bourne. So he certainly can dance, can Matthew, and Richard Windsor, but he's going to be starring in, get this, Saturday Night Fever at the Opera House in Manchester. All very, very exciting. It's coming to the Opera House very, very soon, later this month, on the 25th to the 29th of January. So not long to wait for that one to hit our stages in Manchester. So that is great news completely. And it is a new production in some ways, because this time there's a platform above the stage and they have got 3 people starring as the Bee Gees, singing that iconic soundtrack. So really exciting things to come. So watch out for that one, and hopefully it will have Richard in this very Hive as well. Now, if you're wondering what to see at the theatre, then wonder no more, because the Lowry have got lots of things going on this month. Now, take a quick look at what is coming up at the Lowry Theatre this January. Oh, and of course, if you want any more of what's going on across Greater Manchester's theatres, well, just go to ilovemanchester.com and there will be so much more. Right, well, coming up later on, don't forget we have got a special performance by Cherelle Williams from The Wiz. You are going to absolutely love that. She is performing that later on in the show. But for now, we're going to catch up with another interview I've done with the star of School of Rock, the musical. You might remember the 2003, can you believe it, nearly 20 years ago film starring Jack Black. Well, I caught up with the star of the stage show, and he is called Jake Sharp. He's playing the character of Dewy in that film, and I asked him if he'd actually watched it before getting the role. Take a look at the film. Did you know the film before you got the role, Jake?
I did know the film. Yeah, I'd watched the film a few times. I'm a big Jack Black fan. I'd never really given it much thought that I'd have to try and do a version of him. But I did know the film, and I'd watched it a few times, and then I did watch it when I got the job, and not too religiously. I think there's always a danger you don't want to try and copy it. But I mean, he's so iconic. He's so excellent. He's such an amazing character actor, and his energy and everything. And so people expect to see a little bit of him in the show. But hopefully we don't do. It's not just a kind of a mimic of it. It's very much our own, but with just little flavors of Jack Black.
I cannot wait to see it. And if anybody out there has not seen the film or does not know about it, I don't know where they've been, but tell them a little bit about what the premise is, because you play Dewy, and Dewy comes to a school, doesn't he?
Yeah, so it's always a funny one when you explain it. It sounds kind of like a ridiculous storyline, but it really works. Honest, trust me. So it's basically about Dewy Finn, who is me, as you say, and he's an aspiring and failing rock star. Gets kicked out of his band, can't afford to pay his rent, and he intercepts a phone call, which is for his housemate and his best friend Ned Schneebly, who is a teacher, a supply teacher. And he intercepts his phone call, pretends to be Ned Schneebly, and goes into this really posh school, hoping that he's just going to get a bit of cash in hand and be able to use that to buy instruments to be part of the Battle of the Bands. And realizes obviously he can't just take the money, has to do some teaching. So it ends up with him in front of all these children who are very, very posh. It's a very kind of highbrow school, and he hears them playing some music and realizes that he's got potential rock gods on his hands. So he makes a band with them, which again, every time I say it, I get to that point and I go, that can't be right. That sounds like such a ridiculous storyline, but it's really good. It really works, and it's really fun and just high energy. And yeah, it's an excellent story.
And you mentioned the children before. Oh my goodness! Now, does it feel kind of weird? Because I imagine, some nights, and no offense, Jake, I bet they outshine you, don't they? I mean, they must be incredible to be singing and playing instruments.
It is annoying. They are unbelievable. They're ridiculously talented, and they get more and more talented as it goes on. Unlike a lot of shows that have got young actors in, which are quite often stage school kids or people they've got a bit of experience. I mean, normally they've got more experience than most of the adults. This is kind of feel, because it's a different skill set. There's lots of these unbelievable musicians. They play all their instruments live. You hear these unbelievable guitar solos, and when I say guitar solos, I mean it's not no, that's cute that it's unbelievable. It's frightening. Wow. I say unbelievable too often because it is unbelievable. And so they just rock up. They've never been on stage before. They've just got this outrageous talent on an instrument. And they've kind of had to learn the ropes of theatre and playing in front of thousands of people, and they just rise to it, and they are outrageously talented. It is it blows your mind, and every so often you just get used to it, and you do kind of it just becomes normal. They're your colleagues. They're the people that I share the stage with. Most of my show with these kind of 12, 11 and 12-year-olds. Some of them are 9 when they start, and they blow you away. And every so often you kind of just realize you check in when you're on stage and you're like, they're playing this live. I have to remind myself. So as the audience, I know there are people that don't believe it. There's an announcement at the beginning, but they truly, truly are live. And it's so inspiring. It's just,
Yeah.
and especially after all these times, after the last couple of years, it's just to see this new generation coming through and being able to just be so positive still and so creative. And I think that it resonates with audiences more than it previously did.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you what you were like at school. Were you as talented as those lot? Did you have that passion from the start about wanting to be on the stage, Jake?
Not at all. I don't think I could even walk properly at that age. Like, I was thinking about. I asked my mom about it like not long ago, and I was like, when I was 11, I don't remember even being able to switch the TV on properly. I hadn't got the capacity to do anything, and they're doing this. I didn't have any desire to be on stage. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have any desire to be on stage until I was in my mid-20s. It wasn't part of my growing up. I was very shy and quite creative, but wanted to be quite insular. And the idea of being on stage was utterly terrifying for me. Would never have even. I didn't do it at school. I didn't do it as kind of a hobby. I didn't do it any of that.
So what made the change?
My brother does it. My brother he's very good. He's younger than me, and he's done lots of West End theatre, and he's unbelievably talented. And I think when you're that age, you kind of, or when you're growing up, it was his thing. My thing was more, I'd like to play cricket, I like to play football, and like to be in a band. So I was kind of musical, but and it was always his thing. And then I was in my mid-20s, and just thought I'd join the Amdram because I knew them all because he did it. And then next thing you know,
and then the next minute you are leading the cast of School of Rock. You've also played it in the West End, haven't you, as well?
Yeah.
So I mean, wow. Have you met, though? This is the clincher, all right? This is where me and you might be getting very green-eyed and jealous, because have you met Lord Webber?
I have.
Oh,
yes.
Jake! Oh my goodness, the jealousy coming from the Hive right now is immense.
Yeah.
What was it like?
I have. Yeah, it was amazing. I met him briefly in the West End. I mean, we met, obviously he was around, but not just me and him. And people go very shy, and I do, tend to go quite shy, and he is obviously incredibly talented and so famous, but he's also my boss. So there's that added kind of that pressure. But we met properly recently, and he came to see the show again, and it was the first time that it had just been been able to have like a little conversation and a chat. And it's scary, to be honest. He was watching the show. I've said this before, but he was watching the show, and there's that pressure on, and everyone really feels the pressure, and that kind of excitement, and they just don't want it wrong. And then halfway through Act 2, I was opposite Miss Mullins, who's Rebecca Locke, unbelievable talent, and she was singing her big ballad. And just before her big ballad, I was on stage, and I had this moment of being like, oh, gosh, I can feel the nerves, like from me, that she's about to sing a Lloyd Webber song in front of Lloyd Webber, and imagine that, and then realised that I'd been doing that for an hour and a half and had not registered, and then suddenly all these nerves hit me, and I was like, I'm really glad that hadn't. I'm really glad that I'm not clever enough to have thought about that before, because that would have been quite nerve-wracking. But he's amazing, such a great, lovely guy, and he's been so good to everyone throughout these couple of years. And I think he's become a massive. I mean, he's always been a big fan of it, but I think he really, really celebrates. This is like one of his pieces that he really pushes, because it is a love letter to music. It's a love letter to all the things that he loves, to live music, to children learning instruments, to it just celebrates everyone. It's a kind of a real champion of the arts and a champion of playing together, playing music together and all of that. So it's a lovely thing to be a part of.
And if you think about it, actually, when you say it that way, when Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of started out, Jesus Christ Superstar, kind of the rock opera, and then Joseph, full of kids. So it does seem a perfect fit in that respect. I've got to ask what your favourite part of the show is, though. What is that moment, Jake, where you go, I love it when it gets to this bit?
There's two that come to mind straight away, and there's two that for very differing reasons. There's in the middle of Act 1, there's a song called "You're in the Band," and that's the first time that the young actors kind of like Dewy gives them their instruments and he encourages them to play, and it's about all of that. And it's the first time as an audience that you hear them play live. and it gradually kind of builds to it just being them playing. And I love that bit. I love that bit because you can feel it in the auditorium. You can feel the audience kind of being like, this is the crux of it. This is what we're here for. This is the bit that makes it different from other shows. And so the energy just automatically rises. But then on a personal, like selfish note, when I first saw the show, and then when I first joined, when I was in rehearsals, the first time that I ever went on, I remember there's just a bit where we get to the end and we play in the Battle of the Bands, and basically it just goes, and now welcome to the stage, the school of rock. And I still get the biggest chills always. And then that's the bit that I was always like, right, if you get to that bit, my first show, you get to that bit, then you're on the home straight, you've done it, and it's just us on the stage. Everything that you hear, the orchestra, or the adult band who are in the pit, if depending on the venue, they stand at that point so the audience can see that none of them are playing. They all kind of just rock out of the front with us, or if the pit's at the back, they'll like pop their heads out, and so it's just everything that is heard is just me playing the guitar, and then singing, and 4 or 5 of the other kids playing instruments, and the rest just on stage having a good time.
I have got chills myself. It's like, that's a proper moment. It really
is amazing. It's amazing.
Do you know what? I cannot wait. And I am so, so proud that we get to see it, and these things come on tour, and you're coming to Manchester. So it is brilliant. Sorry. As you say, everyone can go and enjoy this now, and we will be rocking out. Yeah. Yay! Oh, I certainly did rock out. It was absolutely fantastic. So you are in for a treat if you've got a ticket to see that show. And as you can tell there, it's running until the 15th of January at the Palace Theatre. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show. We've had some great guests. We've had Gaynor Faye before. We've just had Jake Sharp. And next week, we've got some other delightful guests that are joining us in the Hive. We've got this man. Yes, Ore Aduba is going to be in the Hive. The Strictly Come Dancing winner is taken to the stage in the Rocky Horror Show. And we've also got Ben Hart. Now, you might recognise Ben Hart from Britain's Got Talent. In 2019, he was one of the finalists, and he's going on tour to the Lowry and the Oldham Coliseum. So again, he is going to be joining us next Sunday. But don't forget, you can catch up with all the news that is going on across Greater Manchester and what is on in our fantastic city by going to Facebook and Instagram with I Love Manchester. They're also on Twitter at I Love MCR. And if you want as well to catch any behind the scenes of Live in the Hive, then you can also go and do the hashtag Live in the Hive and hashtag I Love Manchester, and find us on Facebook as well, Live in the Hive. So there's no escaping the show. I hope you're enjoying it. And I have got to say, do spread the word to any other theatre fans across the city and beyond. But I'm going to leave you this evening with a cracking performance to play us out of the show. The Wiz is playing at Hope Mill Theatre currently until the 16th of January. And you're about to see a wonderful performance from the star of the show, Cherelle Williams, who plays Dorothy. I'm going to leave you with this. But until next Sunday at 8 o'clock, it's bye from Live in the Hive.
There's a feeling here inside that I cannot hide, and I know I've tried, but it's turning me around. I'm not sure that I'm aware if I'm up or down, if I'm here or there. I need both feet on the ground. Why do I feel like I'm drowning when there is plenty of air? Why do I feel like frowning? I think the feeling is fear. Here I am in this different place, in this different time, in this time and space, but I don't want to be here. different time, different people around me. I would like to know of their different world and how different they find me. And just what's a whiz? Is it big? Will it scare me? If I ask to leave, will the whiz even hear me? How will I know then if I'll get home again? Here I am alone, though it feels the same. I don't know where I'm going. I'm here on my own, and it's not